Well, get ready to be super bullish right now, because this little interview that Marshall just had and things that he was saying just a few days ago, man.
Yeah, bro. I hope this is gonna coexist with the thing that I'm gonna share with you about the VIX and the total cryptocurrency market cap as well. I bet you it's just gonna go hand in hand. And then with that document from Bitcoin Suisse and what they were saying about how the spring is coiling up.
Hand in hand, bro. Hand in hand.
All right. Well, for the people joining in and listening in, do you want to explain who this is, what this is, and how recent this interview just was?
Yeah. So this is the GAC. What does GAC stand for, actually? Again.
Yeah, this is what the GAC is. It's the American Credit Union Governmental Affairs Conference. That's what GAC stands for, and it's where over 6,000 participants, industry-leading experts from credit unions came and joined in the event from March 1st to the 5th. So it was at the beginning of this month, so relatively recent. And Metallicus was obviously, of course, there front and center, along with a whole bunch of other major partners like Investify. We covered a little bit about this the other day on our Friday call with Frank Mazda and some of the things that he said as well, because he was interviewed by this gentleman here from the CU broadcast. I'm excited. This is actually the first time that I'm hearing this podcast that you're going to play right now. So, but yeah, just in a nutshell, so everybody knows what this event was. It just recently happened. Metallicus was one of the lead sponsors there. And yeah, some super bullish information came out of this event in regards to Metallicus and just kind of what they've been building and what they've been doing and partnering with the credit unions over the past consecutive couple of months. So yeah, let's bend our ear to what Aqua has to share with you guys today.
Lawson here with CU Broadcast. Welcome back to our continued coverage of the 2026 GAC here in Washington, D.C. And look who we have back in the studio lounge, Mr. Marshall Hayner from Metallicus. I'm starting to call you guys meticulous because you're very, very precise in what you guys are doing. So thanks for
having me back, Mike. Yeah, some people call it meticulous Metallicus because we are pretty meticulous with everything we do.
It's all good. So, yeah. All good. Well, I appreciate what you guys are doing for the industry, and yeah, you guys are helping push that proverbial envelope, especially in the stablecoin arena that everybody's talking about. And we were talking before the recording. Like my last 4 interviews have been like stablecoin focused, so we're including yours, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's grown a lot since we last spoke. You know, just last year, the interest we were talking before we started here, but the interest has grown exponentially. There's so much happening in the blockchain space, and just in the short course of it's only been 4 months or 5 months or something like that. We've watched institutions start to adopt, banks and credit unions are adopting, and now we're on the eve of the digital asset regulation with the Genius and Clarity Act, and the NCUA has just issued new guidance. The OCC issued guidance last week. It's all happening right now. Yeah, we
just had the NCUA chair, Carl Hotman, in here. We were talking about stablecoin as well and where that's headed. And so yeah, very interesting times we are in right now, sir. So I'm going to ask you the most obvious question, and I think we both know the answer, but I love getting your take on it. But what's the attraction here? So why is stablecoin so hot right now?
It all comes down to what I would say DeFi. I think that DeFi is the revolution in finance. It's taking the traditional financial products and rails and decentralizing them, making them global, interoperable, 24/7, without the need of necessarily a human intervention to do everything. And in doing that, it's made lending and borrowing rates more dynamic and efficient.
No doubt.
And really, crypto is good for many things, has many values and uses. I think, payments is one of them, e-commerce, digital identity. There's so many different areas. But when people ask me, what are people doing with crypto? Why should I use crypto today? Besides owning a Bitcoin or owning some digital assets, using decentralized finance to leverage that, to become a lender or a borrower, to be able to lend digital assets and, for example, maximize yield on, for example, if you're lending, maybe you're earning by being a lender using the MetalX loan protocol. You can also borrow a little bit and stake it and optimize on top of that. There are opportunities with finance that are, when you're used to seeing a a rate of, I could get 4% or I could get 3-4%. Well, DeFi has blown way past that. People are, if they're not getting 8 to 10%, then they're not really happy with DeFi. And I think that traditionally the only places that you used to see that were like hard money lending.
Mm-hmm. So I'm sure you sit down and talk to credit unions all the time. So
what's up, bro?
Wow, bro. Sitting there pumping Metal X app at a freaking credit union conference, my G. That is crazy.
And just highlighting DeFi, like we've been highlighting that for years now. And for somebody of his caliber to say that is just like, man, we've been spot on with our analysis this entire time.
That is pretty insane. Wow. Yeah, that was good stuff there.
Yeah.
What's the initial conversation like getting a credit union started down this road? Because I'm very curious about this, because we're notoriously a conservative industry, if you haven't discovered that by now. But once the ball gets rolling, it really snowballs. And people, once they see something working and working really well, it's a big time snowball effect. But I'm really curious to those first conversations that you have with credit unions, what those are like.
Yeah. So, I would say there's probably two different buckets. And one bucket is credit unions that are coming in, that are very interested in the technology, that have done the research or maybe are just starting to do their research. And they come and they ask us, what's this all about? What's a stablecoin all about? And for that, we started 2 years ago with our Metal Blockchain Banking Innovation Program. And that program has grown tremendously since we last spoke. We're almost overwhelmed with the reception of credit unions coming in.
Good problem to have.
It's a great problem to have. And so we train credit unions, the executives, about crypto, everything from just the 101 and training.
Fantastic.
Training the teams to going to deployment, to launching Metal API, to launching their own branded stable coins. And the second bucket, I would say, are those that they're really ready to launch. They've done their research, they've looked at all the different vendors, and they come to Metallicus because they see that we're full stack, that we've built our own exchange. We're the only DeFi BSA DeFi platform, BSA compliant DeFi platform in the world. So we're the only one.
Really?
Top 50 as well. So we're rising up the charts very rapidly. I think we're sitting next to, we're sitting next to XRP, Ripple now, and Algorand, some other huge chains, and we're kind of the Mighty Mouse coming up the charts there. But yeah, there's a tremendous amount of interest on both sides, from the credit union side to stay ahead of the curve, to be part of the future of digital payments, because this is where payments are going. And you see that with Visa and MasterCard and Fiserv. I saw was on the floor. They have their Fi USD offering. In the future,
TrueStage has announced their
TrueStage has their
stablecoin
stablecoin issuance. So in the future, how are all these things going to work together? How are they going to be interoperable? How could Fi USD work with your credit union stablecoin, work with USDC? Well, Metallicus has built the solution. It's not just this is something we're working on. This has been live for years now, and like I mentioned, it's steadily rising up the DeFi ranks. If you go to DeFiLlama.com, where a lot of people are tracking DeFi protocols, you'll see us. I think it's like number 45 or number 46 and rising. And I think it's valuable for credit unions and banks to be able to participate in this, but to do it in a regulated way and safely. And that's the difference.
Well, because I'm asking folks, I mean, ever since TrueStage came out with their stablecoin issuance, and they're going to offer it to all of their credit union clients and stuff, but anybody can be a stablecoin issuer, right?
Right.
But they have to go through certain protocols, right? So,
right.
So as a result of that, is there going to be like 10 million different types of stablecoin, or is there going to be one or two that kind of percolate to the top that everyone's going to use, or you guys are going to be kind of that underlying conduit for all these stablecoins to go through? And I don't know. I'm trying to picture it in my mind how this is all going to play out here in the next couple of years.
Yeah. Let me give you
if that's possible to answer.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me give you my opinion of, I think, where the future is going and what I see happening for the industry. There's, I think, 4,500 or around 4,500, 5,000 credit unions in the U.S. Yeah. Each one of them could have their own stablecoin.
Right.
And the problem prior to Metallicus's offering was fragmented liquidity, which is, I think, what you were alluding to. If everyone had their own individual stablecoin, wouldn't that be complicated? Yeah. Wouldn't that be overwhelming if I said, hey, I want to send you, my St. Cloud stablecoin, but you have XYZ credit stablecoin.
Yeah.
Well, how do they work together?
And you over there have 1, 2, 3, and so on. Yeah.
Exactly. So we thought through this. We saw this coming, as well as the regulation, the new NCUA guidance, the new memo that Kyle put out and the team, and we saw one from the OCC last week. We have been not only instrumental in being instrumental, I would say, a big advocate for pro-regulation. We have been pushing a lot of these different memos and guidance. We've been, really trying to say, hey, the industry should embrace this while we simultaneously build our product around it. So that's one of the great things about Metallicus being an older company. We've been able to watch everything evolve and flow, and through that, we've gotten very good at predicting where the future is going to go. And I think, big prediction is, you're right. I think they all will have their own stable coins. Some, like TrueStage, might be a consortium stable coin where maybe it's a few together. But ultimately, they're going to interact, where they're going to be one-to-one and interact. And that's what Metallicus is building. And in the future, you won't have to think about, oh, how do I convert my stable coin to yours, and what are the fees, and where do I do that? No, you'll just open the WebAuth wallet and I'll just send it to you. And you can freely move it to any one of the stable coins that you want, whether that's USDC and or your credit union or PayPal dollar. And soon it will, with the MetalPay API, with our clients that are going live, you'll be able to deposit it right into the checking account without any middleman, without Coinbase, without anyone in the middle.
Beautiful thing.
Right to your checking account and withdrawal as well.
So it's just like me giving you $1, but it's digital and it's
and
all
global,
equal,
and 24/7,
and immediate, all that good stuff.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
It's going to jump right over faster payments like Zelle and Venmo and all these things, and that's why you see ultimately. That's why PayPal has the PayPal dollar in Venmo now. They're preparing for that future of payments. When PayPal dollar initially launched, they were really struggling. I think, like many credit unions that are talking to competitors to Metallicus, they say, here's your stable coin, and okay, good luck, figure it out. PayPal's a larger company, and they were able to hire a crypto team, and they started to say, oh, let's put the PayPal dollar on Curve Finance and Balancer. But this is really advanced stuff that maybe not every credit union, not every bank is ready to do. And so that's what you get with Metallicus, is we recognize that the credit unions want to not only be educated on this and have the great technology for their members, but we got to make something that works together for everyone.
Together. Sure. I mean, that's really cool that each credit union can have their own stable coin, which is really neat. But my question, and you answered it, is just that unified conduit or whatever that connects it all together and makes it all equal, and everyone has equal amounts or whatever the terminology would be. Exactly.
And that's really the vision behind Metal Dollar, which we started the whiteboarding this product in 2018, so it was almost like 8 years ago. We saw that's how early we were planning, and we saw it. And even at that time, that was 2 years before I helped introduce the Cryptocurrency Act 2020. Now we have the Genius Act. I didn't know at the time anything about Washington D.C. and how bills work, and this thing called pork, and how a three-page bill turns into 84 pages, which is what we've got today. But I'm happy with the Genius Act as we have it today. I know Brian is here in DC. Brian Armstrong from Coinbase is, talking about, debating, can we offer interest on stable coins that are, say, parked on a centralized exchange? I don't think any of that matters. I think we shouldn't hold up these bills to benefit one company or the other. Now, some people will say, well, he's fighting, or other people are fighting for this technology. Well, in my opinion, the technology was going to happen no matter what. I say blockchain is kind of like Pandora's box, because now that it's opened, it can't be closed. And so whether centralized platforms can pay some sort of dividend or something like that on the stable coin, I think that's kind of irrelevant. It should be happening on the blockchain. And when you go to your credit union, you want to use all the products and services of the credit union. I don't want to see blockchain take any of that away from the industry. I want to see it enhance the industry, right?
I totally agree with you. I think that's what it will do. So I'm hoping those are the plans for sure. But I think we're on the right path for sure.
Exactly.
So good stuff, especially when we have really cool folks like you and others out there leading us down the right path to take in this area. So yeah, good stuff.
Thanks.
Artie, sir, I could talk to you all day long about this. I know you could talk all day long because you do talk about this all day long. But anything else here to add to wrap up here, or maybe a quick outlook for 2026?
Sure. Yeah.
If you can.
Absolutely. I love doing predictions. So my predictions for this year are, right now, all markets are down, right? We see the stock market is down, crypto market's down. So now is a time when there are a lot of people building. There's a lot of stuff happening in the background. You may not see it because it's not as loud, although I would argue it does feel kind of loud, even though the markets are down.
Yeah.
Things are going to change over this year where the market goes in up and down cycles. The next, I guess, bull cycle, you could call it, we will have this technology embedded into the credit union. So this year, my predictions are you're going to see the first MetalPay API and Metallicus integrations go live in credit unions.
Okay.
We're going to begin to see the credit union and banking world get much more integrated with this tech. I predict by this year you will see the first credit union and bank-based stablecoins due to the new legislation passing.
Right on.
We're going to see some winners and some losers. And the losers are going to be the ones that fail to have interoperability and compliance baked into the chain. So I think by the end of this year, we'll see the first credit union and bank-based stablecoins. The Genius Act and Clarity Act, I believe, will pass. I think the guidance from from Chairman Kyle Houtman at the NCUA is fantastic.
Yeah, I do too.
There's some things I have some comments on, but overall it's very good. And I think it's going to go through. And in doing that, we're going to have the next crypto bull run, if you call it, will be the institutional bull run.
Oh, gosh.
So it's going to be very exciting.
This never ends. Never ends. Makes your job very exciting, though.
It does. Never a dull day.
No doubt. All right, Marshall. Well, thank you.
Well, that's it, bro. Institutional bull run. Metallicus will be embedded in the credit unions, bro. It doesn't get much more bullish than this.
Talk about considering portfolio reallocation. He said the losers will be the blockchains that don't have compliance baked in.
Yeah, 1,000%, bro. 1,000%. And we've been saying this.
He also said a second ago that the loan protocol, the MetalX app, are the only DeFi BSA compliant protocol it's in the world.
In the world. The whole globe.
That's crazy, bro. Wow. What a freaking interview.
Yeah.
If people are not paying attention to Metallicus after that one,